Hello everyone! There we go. I'm Brian Croydragon and welcome back to Microsoft World of Flight. Today's guide is Carol the Engineer. Let's get started.
Paperwork. We've got so many forms around here, sometimes I think we build paper airplanes, not real ones. Hi, I'm Carol. I'm an aeronautical engineer. I help design big airliners, some of the most complicated machines ever built. Let me give you a quick tour. Just click the start button, and I'll show you how airplanes get off the drawing board and into the air.
Okay.
As you can see, today's jet transports are a lot bigger and more complicated than the ones we built just a few years ago. But they still have wings, a tail, and a fuselage. The challenge today is to make them more efficient to fly and cheaper to build. So even if it doesn't look like planes are much different, take my word for it, they are. Everything's more automated. You know, the latest jumbos need only 2 pilots, not 3. We also use lots of lightweight composites instead of metal. You wouldn't believe how much money airlines save with every kilogram we cut. A lot of the design techniques we still use today were invented back in the 1920s. A few airplanes, like some French racers and German airliners, pioneered streamlined designs and all-metal construction. But things really changed with airplanes like the Lockheed Vega. It was designed at about the same time as the Spirit of St. Louis, but it looks a lot more modern. See, no struts or bracing wires. It even had a special cowling to cover the engine. That really cut drag and helped speed things up.
Okay, let's take a look. Okay. That looks like it. That looks like that's it.
Of course, the wing is the most important part of any airplane. Everything depends on how efficient the wing is, so we spend most of our time trying to make them work better. We're always trying to smooth out the airflow, cut drag. It's funny though, even with all the computer models and wind tunnel tests, we still have to test fly new wings to find out just how well they'll perform. So I guess aerodynamics is still as much an art as it is a science. Even designing airplane wings is pretty simple compared to making helicopter rotors. Igor Sikorsky was a real genius to figure that out. I mean, a basic airplane wing is pretty simple, but a rotor, it whirls around, moves up and down, changes angles. It's an engineer's nightmare. Engineers don't just work on the wings. Every part of an airplane has to be carefully designed. Take landing gear, for instance. They have to be strong enough to absorb the shock of landing an airplane that weighs a couple of 100 tons. They also have to fold up into the wings to cut drag, and somehow you've got to fit in the brakes. And it's all got to handle scorching heat and freezing cold.
What the hell is this? A black and white picture from some movie?
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Yes, I suppose skids would have to work.
Designers don't always get everything right. We still come up with lots of airplanes that will probably never fly. But on the other hand, some of the most crazy-looking machines worked out pretty well.
Yes, I suppose so.
Take the Edgeley Optica. Looks like a big bug to me, but it's a great airplane for aerial observation and a lot cheaper than a helicopter. Shows what you can do if you design an airplane for a very specific job. Now, some of the best designs weren't even supposed to be practical. Take the X-15 or the Vertijet. They were built just to test new ideas. The X-15, it turned out to be just about the best research aircraft ever built. You know, it's been more than 25 years, but we still study the data it collected. The Vertijet, well, it didn't work out so well. The whole jet age wouldn't have arrived so fast if it hadn't been for German engineers in World War II. They came up with all kinds of innovations: swept wings, high-lift devices, improved jet and rocket engines. A lot of the best jet fighters from the 1950s came right out of secret German research. And you know, the space program probably wouldn't have gotten off the ground without the German engineers either. I wish I could have worked in the Skunk Works. Back in the 1950s and 60s, they turned out the most revolutionary airplanes. All those guys had was slide rules and simple calculators, but they built airplanes like the Blackbird that still hold altitude and speed records. I wish I knew what they're working on now. I still think the best example of pure aeronautical engineering is the sailplane. That's pure flight, form following function. Everything is designed for aerodynamic efficiency. No engines or complicated systems to worry about, just a long, clean wing. The new ones are so efficient that a skilled pilot can fly them for hundreds of kilometers in peace and quiet. Oh, that reminds me, I've got to get to a meeting. Just click the button with my picture on it if you want to take another tour. Bye.
And that would be Carol's tour. We'll finish up the World of Flight guides next time. Anyway, I'm Brian Croydregan signing out. Stay straight.